Wow, I am zonked. Okay, I wanted to make a video because there's been a lot of life changes lately, and thankfully they've been good. I'm gonna try not to perform too much this video because I'm tired, and there's also this biting sense of unfulfillment that keeps creeping back into me because of transient nature of things and the way that things change throughout life. So I want to be honest and authentic and say I am officially a week sober from weed because I want to make this a long-term development in my life and consecutive weekly to be able to just do it week by week, because I've had moments in the past where I've been sober for very long periods, but I always had the mentality that I was going to go back to it and I could go back to it whenever I wanted. Now I don't want to do that. I want to at least get a year under my belt to say that I was sober, because I use it as a crutch. And I think that the normalization of smoking weed in the United States, especially, has been terrible for addicts and terrible for people with addictive personalities. I've smoked weed since I was 15 years old, and to have an almost 15-year long on and off love affair with one of the most stalling substances, because it's not debilitating in the way that it destroys your life, but it keeps you from progressing, which makes you feel trapped, which honestly might as well just be destroying your life. I'm saying that the amount of things that I could have accomplished off anyway. Let's not do the if only I made different choices in life, because of course we all would have liked to go back and change our behavior, but the thing is I wouldn't have learned what I needed to learn until I was able to say concretely, I want to give this up. There were many attempts to give it up, and many days where I was like, I'm not good enough to be able to get away from this. It is a source of comfort and a source of motivation and inspiration in a lot of ways. So I'm trying to adapt my mentality to focus on other things that are fulfilling. But it's hard because my dopamine and serotonin systems are all fucked up. I wanted to mention that I saw Backrooms today again for the second time, and it is so good. And Kane Parsons is a legend, and I can't wait to see what else he comes up with. I am unfavorably comparing myself to him, though, because he is 20 and I'm almost 30, and I haven't made a movie. Boo-hoo, I haven't made a box office topping movie. Although I'm trying to think, maybe if I didn't smoke weed all those years, I could have done it. I could have written that screenplay, but who the fuck am I kidding? I didn't have the confidence socially, and I still don't. My assignment for my documentary course is to I haven't done this in my classes tomorrow at 6:30. I have to go out tomorrow and ask somebody in a public garden to be able to film them and to capture coverage and see them working alone. And I am afraid to go up to a stranger and ask them to film them, but I'm going to do it anyway because it's my assignment, and if I go in empty-handed, I'm just going to be setting a precedent for the course. And I didn't want to do that this summer. It's a 7-week course, and I want to be able to say that I tried my hardest at it. I came home from Backrooms, and what did I do? I was listening to music, washed my hair, went online shopping, talked to people on Hinge, Tinder, Grindr, and basically trying to do a lot of shit that is stimulating my dopamine, and it's not good all the time. Oh, I cooked mushrooms too. And I'm in a place where I am reflective, but I'm almost wondering if I'm reflecting too much, and if I need to get better at being honest about what I want to accomplish and do, rather than constantly turning a mirror onto myself and saying, well, what can I fix? What can I address? I have to explain this truth and be authentic about it. Um, I have my brain is completely zapped. I have readings to do, and I'm not picturing how the fuck I'm going to be able to do them. I would rather watch a movie or listen to a podcast or something, go to sleep early, wake up and do it. So I think I'm just going to do that, and I'm going to have to be direct with my work that I'm accomplishing tomorrow. I'll set up the means to be able to do it, and then I'll just dive right into it as the day progresses, because I also went for a 3-hour hike today. And in the end, I think that behavior, all this self-care behavior that I'm doing that I was not allowing myself to do while I was deep in the throes of weed addiction, is the better use of my time right now, rather than forcing out an impossible standard that I hold for myself. Um, what else do I want to talk about? I'm plagued with feelings of unfulfillment because of absence from my ex. It's been 5 years at this point. About 5 years, yeah, since we left a committed relationship, but we kept talking, and I just saw him in March, so it's like I'm definitely trying to never reach out to him unless he comes to me, because I was the one who was checking in with him all those years. And he's the type of guy who's like, oh, yeah, sure, like, whatever. I want things to be amicable and friendly between us. But he doesn't care about getting to know me anymore. He doesn't care about preserving a connection in the present. I think I hurt him too much. And my working theory is that he pretends not to remember the shit that we did together because it is too painful to actually really, really remember it and to really internalize me as an important relationship in his life. Because I question many days, I'm like, was I really not that special to him? And he treats me like I'm not. He treats the memory of it like it wasn't that special. But he has a different boyfriend now, and he is living a different life than I anticipated. And I had hope that we were gonna maybe rekindle things one day, but right now I don't know. Okay, I don't know. The crazy part of me is saying that he's gonna break up with this guy, and he'll date around whatever, but he'll always go back to the idea of us being a great match. It just wasn't the right time. Anyway, so I want to banish the thoughts of him from my brain and stop reminiscing over it. But I'm a sentimentalist, okay? And I appreciate how we held each other when the world was fucking ending. And he was my social ballast during that time, because otherwise I would have been by myself. I would have been alone, okay? Isolated. And he had a bunch of other people in his lives. He had a job. He had things going on, and basically I was just like kind of figuring out how to get through the day. This was before I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder also, and I wasn't taking any medication, so I was self-medicating with alcohol. And you know 2020 was one of the most productive and happiest and artistic years of my life, and I'm beginning to feel like this is a bit of a renaissance. Okay, it's a new month, it's a new season, and I think that I'm coming back to a sense of stability and trust in myself. That was the problem for a long time, is that I didn't trust myself to do what I needed to do. I thought that life was going to be terrible after breaking up with Christopher, and in many ways I strove for greatness, and I have done great things in the past 5 years, things that have had nothing to do with the memory, but I still carry that inspiration inside me as a really affecting experience. Whatever. My brain is zapped, but I foresee good things coming this season. I'm trying to find some way to become more satisfied with the unknown and to embrace it more as a source of stimulation and inspiration. Because I'll often ask myself on hikes, like, what is it that I really need? And honestly, I need to go slow. I need to stop trying to chase after what I believe my idea of success is, and to embrace the little wins, to embrace the relationships that I already have. Okay, I have a lot of good friends, and I think that we can delude ourselves sometimes into thinking, well, they're not the most perfect connections, so they can't be that good for me. It's like, I don't know. Have I taken time to kind of break the patterned communication that I have with these people and allow for different roots to be planted and to spread, and to cause me to look at fulfillment in a different way? Because I think that that's also another thing I need to do. Is I've been looking at emotional authenticity and transparency and admittance, showing up for oneself, as the way to heal my trauma. And my trauma comes from a very specific place of neglect. And neglect is one of the worst things that you can do to a kid. The other one is hitting them. But my parents did both at different times. And it wasn't like a calculated, planned, abusive measure. It was because they just didn't understand their own feelings, they didn't understand their own emotions. And so I've had to process a lot of my family trauma recently with a therapist. And moving oneself around a lot in life causes you to have to reassess what your idea of home is over and over again. And I realize home is wherever I am. Okay, home is within me. I've uh, nurtured a sense of belonging with myself, a common culture with myself, and that it's not that I don't need anybody, it's that I am the person who gets myself up in the morning and I am the person who brushes my teeth. Okay, and I need somebody. I need a partner. All right, that's a definite need of mine, but I don't have that right now. So I need to be that partner to myself. Okay, and I need to also be able to make more time to do the hard stuff, like doing my homework and trying my best in this class and not trying to be this perfect idea again of what I think I need to be. So this is my video update. I didn't make a lot this year, haven't made a lot this year because it's only half over. The glass is half full and I am half excited and half curious, and I think that that's all I have to say today.